Good morning, my fellow Canadians. Well, a lot has been going on in this country of ours. I did a couple of posts on the convoys, the Freedom Convoy. I'll touch on that. Something occurred to me, and I've run this past a few people, and they got quite a laugh out of it. Do you realize we have a new legal precedent established by the premiers and the government of Canada? A new legal defense, and I'll explain. The governments, provincial and federal, have said that unless you take this vaccine, we are going to do this. We are going to limit your ability to travel, limit your ability to work, limit your ability to earn a living. You can lose your job, and you won't get compensation from unemployment insurance because of this, and try to live on unemployment insurance in any case. And I've seen this. I've seen this. Friends of mine people I know who've had the shot, not because they chose to, but because, well, no, again, let me correct myself. They chose to take the shot because the alternative was worse. So, choice, right? You have a choice. So I thought to myself, well, let's extend this. So let me give you a what if scenario. I break into your home. I put a gun to your head and I say, give me all your valuables or I'll blow your brains out. Excuse me. And you sit there and you say, wait, I worked for this stuff. This is mine. This is my legacy to my children, my family, whatever. And you say, no, I think he's bluffing. No, I won't. So I blow your brains out. I wonder if I can use the governmental defense when I go to court for murder. Well, yes, I shot him, Your Honor, but he had a choice. I gave him a choice. He chose. It's his fault, not my fault. I gave him a choice. I've used a cruder analogy among my friends, but you see my point. Sometimes choice is no choice at all. Anybody remember the movie Sophie's Choice? It speaks, if I'm wrong on this, please tell me where I've missed the boat because I'd love to know. We have a choice. That's the government's position. We have a choice. Well, to go back to choice, I was watching television. I saw a commercial for a drug for whatnot. I don't know what it was for. Irritable bowel syndrome. They've got drugs for this, drugs for plaque psoriasis, drugs for this. Take this, it'll improve your quality of life. Interestingly enough, at the end of every commercial, there's a disclaimer. Side effects may include ... Now, by law, they have to tell you what the potential side effects are. And that's the cornerstone, the bedrock pillar of free and informed consent. Yes, any medical procedure, your doctor, if they're worth their salt as a doctor, will tell you, well, this will do this, but there is a possibility of, there's a low probability of, but you get told, again, free and informed consent, of the possible downsides, the possible negatives. You're told this. It's an integral part of medical procedure. We're not getting that with the shot. Instead, what do we get? Take this and don't ask. This is good for you. Don't ask questions. You have to have this. It'll improve the quality of life for everybody. But don't ask questions. If you don't take it, you're unpatriotic, or you're a threat to society. You're a menace to those around you. Don't ask questions. Just take the shot. Which leads me to something I brought up because I watched this Dr. Julie Ponces, or Professor Julie Ponces, and there was something I was unaware of. It's something I've talked about before in the past. When I grew up and there were in the schools debating societies, I've been involved in debates, not only from the background from school, but also in areas where I am fairly conversant, fairly knowledgeable, where I've heard bad information and I've had discussions. Sometimes they got heated, but they were discussions about what was said versus what was true, what was the mainstream media pushing versus what was factual. I've done this with firearms. I've done this with certain sociological issues where I'm hearing a one-sided narrative and I'm saying, no, this is a bigger picture. There's other sides to this that are not being spoken of. There are more things under heaven and earth, Horatio, than I dreamt of in your philosophy, to get Shakespearean about it. And it brought me up to something that really, really, really irritates the hell out of me. It's rebuttal versus denial. I don't know if anybody remembers Al Gore, who's fortunately fallen off the public stage, but why not? He made a fortune off fear-mongering. If you remember his presentation, An Inconvenient Truth, and he was a gloom and doom. He packed the halls with fear-mongering about the climate change and we were all going to die. Now, Al Gore was a politician with no background in climatology, no background in climate sciences, but he made a fortune off people's fear. He made a fortune off this presentation. Well, I believe it was Patrick Moore, I can't remember, but it was a climatologist, took his whole presentation point by point and debunked everything he said with science and fact. That is called rebuttal. So, apparently, the federal health officials were invited to sit down face to face with a panel of equally qualified, equally eminent, equally recognized medical professionals who take an opposing viewpoint and support their position against other people as qualified or more so than them. So how'd that turn out? Well, it didn't, because, surprise, the federal health professionals refused to sit down and support their position against people who could give them a run for their money. This was done provincially. They were invited to sit down and an open discussion about their mandates, the efficacy, everything surrounding the COVID pandemic, so-called, and debate it with someone who was in a position to rebut their positions. And you know what came of that? Nothing, because they refused. Free and informed consent. Full and informed consent. Yes, you take this, it will improve your quality of life, we believe. But this could happen, that could happen. If we're not given that, then what the hell has happened to democracy? What the hell has happened to our freedom, to our free will as citizens? So you've got this truckers convoy, and they notice they're not calling it the anti-mandate convoy. They're not calling it an anti-vax convoy. Most of the truckers are vaccinated. They're calling it a freedom convoy. You should have the freedom of bodily autonomy. You should have the freedom to make a decision based on all the available information, not cherry-picked information, all available information. You have that right. Brian Peckford is taking the Trudeau Liberals and the cabinet to court for their violation of the Charter. I think, and unless I'm sadly mistaken, his violations of the Charter were not done in parliamentary debate because, if you recall, he dissolved Parliament. These were arbitrary diktats from a man, an overgrown child, with an exaggerated opinion of his ability, his competence, his intellect, his knowledge, and his worth as a human being, quite frankly. So the convoy, the Freedom Convoy, God bless you all. And God bless everybody who's still capable of thinking, still capable of exercising some free will. And the people out there like me who see hope again, the common sense, and the people, do you understand? The people of Canada will once again have their voices heard. So that's my morning dissertation. God bless. God bless you all. God keep you all safe. And let's go, everybody, rally for the cause of freedom. Thank you. Have a good morning.